Alright, so what artifacts should you focus for the new character Maru? So in this video, I'm going to go over all the different options that you can choose from and what I personally would recommend. So for the first artifact slot, we have Undaunted Blazar. So gaining an overshield is also going to grant a plus 20% damage resistance for 2 seconds. Repeatedly gaining this effect will extend the buff's duration to a max of 10 seconds. Maru is always going to have an overshield for the most part thanks to her shield ability, so having that extra damage resistance for gaining an overshield is always nice. Now you also have another option, which I actually like Unrelenting Shell over Undaunted Blazar, because reloading weapons is going to grant a plus 20% damage resistance for 3 seconds. And with the new Virgo Drill exotic, you're pretty much spamming reload all the time. And when you land final blows, it increases your reload speed. So you are spamming reload with the Virgo Drill. You pretty much are always going to have this damage resistance active because you're constantly reloading your weapons. Now for the second artifact slot, we have Siphoning Blazar, which when the wielder has an overshield, dealing AoE damage to combatants is going to grant overshield equal to 20.8% of the initial damage dealt. So with GLs, when we do this area of effect damage where it's going to hit multiple targets, we will get part of an overshield built. So as you see, I'm shooting both GLs, and that overshield is building. So not only can we build that overshield just by blocking projectiles, grenade launchers, and dealing that AoE damage, with both weapons is going to partially build back my overshield. And with Maru, you always want to have the overshield active. Now we also have Ring of Safeguarding, which gain 36% overshield when your shield is broken. This will last 6 seconds, and it does have a cooldown of 16 seconds. So if there is an emergency where you do lose your shield, you will instantly gain that 36% overshield. It is nice to have this artifact, but I do prefer Siphoning Blazar over this. And for the third artifact slot, we have Safeguarding Blazar, which increases the base max overshield by 24%. Additionally, abilities will deal plus 32% damage while protected by an overshield. Once again, on Maru, we're always going to have the overshield active for the most part, so having the increased ability damage from this is going to be nice. We also have Ring of Maru, which just getting an overshield is going to grant you a plus 16% damage bonus for 6 seconds. Just gain an overshield, get a damage bonus. Up to you which one of these you want to choose from. I'm having a hard time myself deciding between the two of these, so that's why I mentioned both of them in this. So for the fourth artifact slot, we have Bellicose Blazar, which our AoE damage is increased by 20%. Additionally, dealing AoE damage increases the wielder's movement speed by 15% for 3 seconds. Maru is a very slow character. She does not have any movement abilities, so an artifact that boosts our AoE damage by 20%, we don't have to even have an overshield, we don't have to do anything to proc it. Just having this artifact on increases our AoE damage, while also increasing our movement speed is a plus. And we also have Ring of Reflection, which gain damage bonus equal to our overshield value or our total health times 56% while protected by an overshield for a max damage bonus of 20%. I'm gonna be honest, these numbers barely make sense to me, but I see max damage bonus of 20%, making it a good option because we are gonna have an overshield. These numbers, I'm awful. When anytime I see numbers, my head is like, what is happening? So if you're like me, we see max damage bonus of 20%, it's gotta be a good option. This artifact is a top choice. I do like Bellicose Blazar more because our AoE damage is increased by 20%, as well as we get that increased movement speed. Some of this is going to be subject to change. It is very early, but people are asking me what artifacts I want to run on Maru, and these have been the ones that I've been playing around with, and just testing for myself, as well as I've seen some other people running these as well. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.